Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of New York Giants football talk. Just like our music in the intro there, the Giants game was very scary yesterday afternoon, and we're going to get into it. But you know, some sad news on the Giants side. But Paul, how are you doing? And we got some sad news in the NFL, and our uh, crosstown rivals, the New York Jets, shared some sad news yesterday. And, I'm going to pass it to you. But how are you doing otherwise, my friend?
I'm doing good. We our first show in our new house, so it's getting comfortable. I'm getting there. We are working every day diligently. You will see it next week when you come up. Everybody, Kenny's going to be our first visitor staying over, so we're excited about
Yes,
that. Um,
love it.
but yeah, unfortunately. Should I say, sad news out of the New York and the New York Jets and football NFL family. Nick Mangold, some of you may remember, all pro, Pro Bowler with the Jets, 7-time Pro Bowler, uh, was the center of some good Jet teams in the early 2010 with Rex Ryan as the head coach. They went to a couple of championship games. Anyway, unfortunately, he passed away Saturday night at the young age of 41. He was in need of a kidney. In fact, as a matter of fact, he just about a week or two ago uh, went out and tried to see if he could get a match for a kidney. Unfortunately, there were no matches, and uh, Nick, at 41 years old, far too young, passed away. So rest in peace, Nick Mangold, the Jets family, the Ohio State family, and the NFL family.
And Kurt and Jen will probably mention his name tomorrow on their high school show. His last thing he was doing, Paul, he was coaching last year, high school level, helping out over in Del Barton. Because I believe, not sure if it was his son or family member was playing for that team.
Mm.
So he was on that coaching staff just as quick as last year he was there. So Del Barton High School also uh, grieving as well. So our
Yeah.
thoughts and prayers with that high school football team as well in New Jersey. Good friend Roy Osborne saying, "Hey there, Kenny and
Hey,
Paul.
Roy.
I did root for your Giants yesterday. Thanks, Roy. Tough loss. Tough loss. We're going to get to it in a second. Give a couple people some time to get into a few more minutes to get into the show here because we like to start with an NFC East review. And there's really no review much because the Giants and the Eagles faced off against each other. So around the NFC East, the Commanders are playing tonight without Jaden Daniels on national TV against the Super Bowl runner-up Chiefs. But we do get to review one game, and Roy's a Bronco fan, so good job, Broncos. Thank you, Broncos, for taking care of our rival, the Cowboys, and keeping us in distance of getting out of the cellar. So thank you, Broncos. Cowboys defense is an absolute mess. Worst in football, in my opinion. And that's saying a lot. I'm going to get to our Giants in a couple minutes. But worst defense by far in the NFL. And the Broncos took advantage of it. And with their good defense, forced Dak Prescott to make a few mistakes in this game. 44-24. Cowboys got a late garbage touchdown with the backups in. 44-17 shellacking with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and those boys all in the game. So thank you, Broncos. Let's get out of that cellar. Still a long season to go. And let's see what can happen in the second half. But Paul, anything on that game? Anything on
Uh,
the Commanders without Jaden Daniels? That's another team that could be in reach for the Giants. I
yeah,
mean,
I think the Chiefs are going to win tonight. I think they're sort of on a mini roll. And as far as the Broncos game, they played, I would say, probably 98% of that game without certainly the defensive play of the year, Patrick Surtain, yesterday. So for them to do what they did against the Cowboys is even more impressive. than just beating them.
It is, and it's been very the season just gets more and more frustrating as the season goes on because these two teams are in your reach. The Commanders and Cowboys, the Giants are in their reach, and the Giants just put their foot in their mouth and dig a hole deeper and deeper each week. But we're gonna get into it right now, Paul. Quick review. Let's talk about the most important thing. Cam Scatterbo injury. Uh, I want to read something that just came to my attention shortly before we went on the air, Paul. This is from Cam Scatterbo. And he writes, "Thank you everyone for the support. Surgery went well. I just want to thank the city of Philly for taking the best care of me. Every moment I spent in the hospital with family and friends, I felt love and support in every way. Thank you to the doctors, surgeons, and staff that did their best work on me. This is just the beginning of my journey, and I can't wait to show you guys all about it. God has a plan for me. Stick the course, and it will work out itself. Be right back." Working in a hospital myself, Paul, I love to hear that. And I don't get to applaud the city of Philadelphia much. I applaud them for taking care of Cam Scatterbo in the hospital and the fans showing their respect to him. It was a good job by the Philadelphia Eagle fans yesterday, and that's
Yeah.
I got to give credit where credit's due. And tough loss for not only the Giants but the NFL because this kid brought excitement to the NFL. And last thing on Cam Scatterbo, it's a dislocated ankle. I was wrong on the recovery time. It's a 4 to 6 month recovery time. Dak Prescott had this injury a couple years ago. He'll be back next year. I can't wait to see you back in action, Cam Scatterbo. And thank you personally from my heart. And I know I'm speaking for Paul, who's going to go in a second, and all Giants fans for bringing excitement back to New York Giants football. So thank you. Speedy recovery to you. And thoughts and prayers are with you, Cam Scatterbo. Paul, I'm going to let you say a few words.
Yeah, well said, Kenny. Yeah, I mean, when he went down yesterday, I was gutted. I felt so bad. My heart just sank. Uh, he's been one of the most exciting players, Kenny, as you know. I just love this kid coming out of college. I told you I wanted the Giants to draft him, and we did, fortunately. And what this kid has provided has been not just a spark as a running back, but a personality for the whole New York area. I mean, this kid has taken the NFL by storm. They said, well, he did this against college. He'll never do that in the NFL. Well, they're wrong, as usual. He has been dominant. He has been impressive. He has shown everything that he did in college. And the fact that he did it in the largest stage, and we've discussed that time and time again on this show and our K&K show, it's so hard to do it in New York. But this kid came in. He respects the game of football. He loves the game of football. He plays hard. He plays every down as if it's his last play. And that's what you have to respect. And the fact that not just the Giant players, but that the Eagle players yesterday, when they realized how bad the injury was, they were right there with the Giant players, wishing him the best of luck. And like you just said with the Eagles fans, I have to say, both you and I know there's never a time that we would ever give Eagle fans or Philadelphia fans credit. But the fact that they showed respect and got up and gave him a standing ovation as he was being taken off said something about the respect that he's gained in such a short period of time as an NFL player. So that was one thing. I also read the head of security for Philadelphia, the infamous Big Dom, his name is always around the Eagles. He actually brought pizzas and cheesesteaks to the hospital last night to Cam Scatterbo's family to help ease the pressure and the anxiety of the injury last night. So a big shout out to the Eagles organization, the city of Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia Eagle fans for really, really respecting and showing respect on Cam Scatterbo's injury. listen, we hope he recovers. I'm sure he will. He's the kind of kid that's certainly 150% uh, dedicated to come back and show that he can still play in the NFL. So we're rooting for you, or prayers to you and your family. And we all hope that next year you're back and even better than ever.
Well said, Paul. Sharon saying hello, everyone.
Hey, Sharon.
Tough loss, losing Cam Scatterbo. And not just tough loss, but emotional too. Emotional loss when you lose somebody that in a short period of time it meant that means that much to our team. And you know how much he loves football, and you hate to see that early in the career. So
Hmm.
he's strong enough. He'll bounce back. He's in good spirits, and I think he's got good family and friends around him and teammates. And as bad as the Giants have been this year, every one of those Giant players got up and went by his side when they were taking him off the field.
Hmm.
From player number 1 to 53, they were all there, and that tells you a lot too. So, much respect to him around the league and the Giants players, his teammates, and everybody. Tons of respect for him, and he'll be back. He'll be back. But
Let me just say one more thing, Kenny, about, well, two more things quickly. We'll get into it with the refs, and I'm going to mention something about the Cam Scatterbo injury in regards to the refs and the situation during the game. But a lot of people from the NFL reacted, and one particular person who is on Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt,
yeah,
who twice awarded Cam Scatterbo with the angry run this year. Out of 7 weeks, he won it twice. His reaction was, not Cam Scatterbo. I'd rather it be me. So, to hear something like that, what an impact Cam Scatterbo has made on almost every single person who follows the NFL.
yeah. That's he's definitely gained respect and much earned respect in his short career. So he'll be back. He'll be back. I'll be excited more than ever to watch him come back on this journey, like he said in his post. And we'll be ready for next year when you do come back, Cam Scatterbo. Uh, I want to do a recap on this game, Paul. We talked about it. Let's talk about the game a little bit. I'll let you go first on the recap because then I got a couple things I want to do after the recap.
Okay. Well, obviously, 2 weeks ago, the Giants had their signature win, a thrashing of the same Eagle team, 34-17 at MetLife Stadium. Complete, utter domination. We were hoping there would be something similar yesterday at the link. Unfortunately, it did not turn out that way. Hey, it's difficult enough to beat a team with 11 players when you're playing against 11 players, but when you add 10 more referees and pinstripes, that's another 10 uh, individuals. Kind of hard to beat a team like that. And I normally don't point fingers at the referees, but we'll get into it in a little bit because clearly the Eagles had the referees in their back pocket. Uh, Giants had it fairly close early. Uh, Certainly, the defense didn't play that well. I know you'll get into it with Shane Bowen. Um, Saquon was Saquon, 150 yards. Second play, 65-yard scamper, not touched by any Giant. And they came back, tied it up, the Giants. I thought Dart played very well under the circumstances. The defense, the defensive running game was horrible, almost 300 yards rushing by an Eagles team that hadn't been running the ball very well. Um, the I believe Jalen Hurts threw 4 touchdowns, and overall the defense did not show up at all. The offense did as much as they possibly could. Dart played, I thought, fairly well against under the circumstances, but it was too little, too late. And again, in my opinion, the key significant areas where the Giants lacked were due to referee penalties missed calls that should have been interpreted a different way. And like I said, we'll get into that in a little bit. But overall, loss 38 to 20. That was not the greatest game.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. When Cam Scatterbo got hurt, it took almost everything out of me yesterday. And watching the Giants rush defense yesterday, I turned it off in the third quarter. And I work overnights, so I went and took a nap. And I didn't watch the fourth quarter at all. That's how disgusted I was with this defensive run defense that we had yesterday. Philadelphia Eagles are without AJ Brown, their number one receiver. They have a 1-1A, Devontae Smith, that has been great as well. But you got one of them out of the game. Do you not know that they're going to try and utilize Saquon Barkley every which way possible? First play of the game, less than a minute into the game, a 60-yard touchdown run. Okay, he broke one. Okay, it happens. But then it happens again, and it happens again. And the backup, Tank Bigsby, 2nd and 31, gets a first down on a run play. Unacceptable. And in a couple minutes, I got some call-outs, and Paul and I are going to have some fun with. But unacceptable on the defensive side of the ball. Brian Burns playing hurt, and I think he's playing hurt better than the rest of the guys on the team on the defensive side. You know, we were without Javon Holland. We were out without Paulson Adebo. Deontay Banks played okay. I'm not going to say he played great. I'm not going to say he played terrible. And then what happens? Bobby Okereke tries to punch the ball out, but instead punches his teammate Cordell Flott in the head. And only the Giants can lose a player on a concussion by a teammate hitting them in the helmet by accident. Only the Giants. So defensive secondary was really banged up after that. And Eagles did not look back. Jalen Hurts had 4 touchdowns. And again, the run defense. But the run defense should have been keyed on Barkley and Tank Bigsby, who was on a practice squad and got released by the Jaguars just a couple months ago. Rushes for over 100 yards as well. So totally unacceptable on the run defense. Offense side of the ball, Jackson Dart looked good. Theo Johnson hit and miss with him. He makes some good plays. He makes some bad plays. Darius Slayton was back. Nice to see him back. Couple plays. Wan'Dale Robinson, what didn't exist much in this game. So there was some existing players, some non-existent. The offensive line's doing a decent job. We'll bounce back. Tough one emotionally. So, but 38-20, it's a tough way to lose. And, the run defense, unacceptable. And, Saquon Barkley is going to be the focal point of this offense. And you let that up, and the Tank Bigsby as well. Anything else on the recap, Paul, before I want to make some call-outs in this game?
You said it all. The only thing I would add to that is that the Giants knew Vic Fangio was going to change around their defense, and in my opinion, they didn't adjust nearly as well. Same thing on the defensive side, and I don't think the Giant coaching staff did a good job in coaching the Giants for this game yesterday, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and one more thing, special teams. You're holding your breath when a kicker kicks a field goal for us, but isn't it nice to have a field goal kicker that can make a field goal? The problem with Graham Gano is you don't know if he's going to be on the field start of the game, but he's an accurate kicker. If we had an accurate kicker against the Broncos, maybe we got 3 wins on the instead of 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if we have a kicker against the Cowboys, maybe we got 4 wins. Disgusting. But it was nice to see a kicker at least kick a field goal yesterday.
Yeah.
So get me going, and I think I'm going to get even more fired up in a minute because This segment's called It's Simple Call Outs. And I'm going to call it. I'll start. And Paul, if you want to go back and forth, then we'll call some people out.
Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm calling Shane Bowen out again. And the petition's going to start. You don't like to see somebody lose their job, but maybe you know. But in college football, I don't feel sorry for them. James Franklin, a couple weeks, Penn State fired him, bought out for $49 million. Brian Kelly just over the weekend, LSU coach, bought out for $50 million. Shane Bowen ain't going to get $50 million if you release him, but he'll be financially stable if you let him go because you owe him his salary. He'll make enough money that you don't have to worry that he's going to be on the street. He's going to be nowhere near the street. He'll still be living in his house and moving on to his next job. Petition, get rid of Shane Bowen. A.J. Brown out of the game. One job, this defense. I would have allowed Devontae Smith to beat us yesterday. I would have allowed it because we got Deonte Banks. We don't have Paulson Adebo. Cordell Flott moves up to the number one guy. I would have accepted that. But I am not accepting Saquon Barkley to run 60-yard touchdown on the first play of the game and then do it again. And then Tank Bigsby on 2nd and 31. First down. Every single game we're watching this guy ruin games for us. And this is not saying the Giants would have won yesterday, but you stop Saquon Barkley, and I could tell you right now, they're not scoring 38 points yesterday. 20 points may have not been enough, but it would have been a closer game. Last week, we all know what happened. Against the Cowboys, we know what happened. Shane Bowen has physically lost at least 2 games, maybe more for these Giants. Petition starting. Let him go. I'm done. I am totally done with this guy. He's got an elite talent defense, and it's playing like crap because they don't respect him. Simple. Plain and simple. That's my first call out.
Good call out. You know what the sick joke about Shane Bowen is, Kenny? Is the fact that when he was hired, the Giant run defense was being questioned, that Wink Martindale was too aggressive, they were blitzing too much, and that the run defense was weak. So what did the Giants do? They go out and they sign this guy, Shane Bowen, who they claimed was a great coach in stopping the run. In the last 2 years, I believe the Giants are the worst defense in the NFL at stopping the run. Add to that is the fact that he has now cost the Giants clearly 2 games in calling prevent defenses against the Cowboys and the Broncos 2 weeks ago in trying to alleviate the teams from scoring, but instead setting up the Giants to lose. So if he can't coach the run game, he can't coach the pass game, what does this guy do week in and week out? Someone explain that to me. I may not be a football savant, but you know what? I've watched football long enough to know that if you can't coach run defense and pass defense, what good are you? And listen, I don't want anyone losing their jobs. You have a family, you have all the stuff. But if you were hired to do a certain job for the New York Giants football organization and you can't do it, why should they continue to pay your salary?
Earlier, Graham said hello. Forgot to mention.
Hey, Graham.
What's up, Graham? On the Broncos side, not good news here. PS2 has a pec strain out 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, that's a big loss.
Tough loss for the Broncos. Speedy recovery to him. Hi, Paul. You want somebody? You want to call out somebody? And we might have the same guys here, but rightfully so. And
I'll call out a guy. I'll call out a guy who, quite honestly, when I saw the Giants draft this young man a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, I said, I'm ecstatic. The fact is, he was great in college. And I said, man, they traded up to get him. Yesterday, for the first time, he was a healthy scratch. Jalen Hyatt, number 13. I see that uniform, number 13. I know that's an OBJ uniform, but nevertheless, number 13. You mean to tell me if he can't step up, Neighbors is out, you had Darius Slayton out, for a few weeks with a hamstring, and you can't step up and show that you have the capability of stepping up and playing in the NFL, if you don't step up in that situation, then quite frankly, you shouldn't be on this team. So, as much of a fan as I was of Jalen Hyatt, my attitude has totally changed on this guy. Get rid of him, and if he develops with another team, hey, more power to you. Look what's happened with Daniel Jones. But if he can't step up and do the job and at least give the Giants another and Jackson Dart another decent receiver to throw the ball to in this situation, then what good are you? So that's what I'm call. That's who I'm calling out.
Great call out. I could have sworn I saw him on the sidelines yesterday, and I was like, is he not suited up? And there he is. I looked at the inactives, and Jalen Hyatt inactive, and there's no
Healthy
excuse.
scratch.
Healthy scratch is no excuse for that when Malik Neighbors is out and Darius Slayton just coming back from an injury. No excuse for that. None. And I think his days are over with the Giants. David Burns watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. Thanks, David, for hanging
David.
out with us. I got an important one, and I got to call him out because he's supposed to be the leader of this defense, one of the leaders, and supposed to be one of the best, if not the best, interior defensive tackles in football. And that's Mr. Dexter Lawrence. Is he even playing on Sundays? Because you don't even hear the announcers mention his name at all throughout the games. And 2 weeks ago, and I just saw Ernie coming in saying, "Hello, Kenny. Sorry about
Ernie.
sorry about your loss to your running back." He's a big Bronco fan. Solving the race problem, saying good show tonight, guys. Thank you, Solving.
Thank you.
Any questions,
you.
please? We're going to open agenda along with our segments here, so please ask anything football related, Giants related, Halloween. We'll even talk about Halloween. With the spooky season coming up. So
Favorite Halloween candy.
And Keith saying, good to see you, gentlemen. Chins up. You too, Keith. Keith and I did a
Keith.
morning juice show today, 7 a.m. Went around the league. Check Keith out with Jody and Trevor at the Denver Bronco Roundup on Wednesdays and Friday nights. Big Broncos fan over there. But the morning juice, 7 a.m. Eastern time for us Eastern time guys. I'm on there with him. We had a great show today, and show's gaining a lot of momentum. I'm excited about it. But Dexter Lawrence has to get a call out. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we got some Bronco fans in here. Alex Polchevsky, backup guard, lined up over Dexter Lawrence, lined up over him. One pressure. Make matters even worse, a 9-year backup center for the Eagles yesterday, lined up over Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence nowhere to be found. Now, I will say this. If a couple weeks go down the line now and we find out Dexter Lawrence has been playing injured, I'll come on in public apology. I'll throw a public apology on this show to you, Dexter Lawrence. But if I don't hear that, this has been a disappointing year for you. You got paid. You're out of shape. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing on this defense. Time to step up. Should have been weeks ago. But you got a whole second half of the season. Save this season for yourself and be the leader and be the guy that the Giants paid you to be, is one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. And you've not even done that at all so far this year. And I'm fired up about it because I was very excited to have him in the middle of this defensive line with these guys on the front four. And he's been a no-show all year. I'll get yours, Paul, and then we do have some comments I want to get to.
Okay. I agree with everything that you say. And Kenny, you're not the only person who's a Giant fan or even an ex-Giant player who's had some critical comments about Dexter Lawrence. So why don't you talk a little bit about what you heard today and let me know.
Well, I'm sorry, Paul. I was just reading the comments. I thought I missed what you said towards the end there.
You're not the only one that's been critical about Dexter Lawrence. There was a former Giants player.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Carl Banks, or arguably one of our best linebackers in history. If he didn't play alongside of LT, he might have been our best defensive linebacker in football. And he came on and said, similar to what I said before I even knew Carl Banks posted. This was before Carl Banks posted. And he called out Dexter Lawrence and pretty much in nice words called him, it's calling him a bust of a season, fraud. It's time to step up and basically calling him out every which way possible. So maybe that gets in his head and it works, or maybe he is injured. And he Carl Banks even mentioned that if he's injured, that's one thing, but if he's not, this is unacceptable. And Graham, if you're still listening out there, do us a favor. I told Paul I was going to ask. See if Graham's our backstage producer. Can you go on X and find out if Carl Banks is on there and invite him on our Giants show for us?
Love to speak with him.
Yep. Paul, you want me to get to the chat, or do you want to say a couple things more about Dexter?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Okay.
Listen, he's got to show up. He just has to.
And we get some questions and comments. They're coming in heavy. That's why we go around the NFC East, get the Cowboys out of the way early in the show, so we give our audience time to come in. Graham is saying, I hope that we get a positive Giants podcast one day. It's disappointing that it's been rough for you guys for so long.
Thank you, Graham.
We did have a positive one. We beat the Eagles a couple weeks ago. That was a very positive, positive show. So it was fun. You know what? Hey, these are the tough ones, and it shows, that we got good fans and friends if they come and hang out with us during these tough ones. Solving the race problem says Banks gets all the negative attention, but Newman looked like the worst starter on defense yesterday. Newman did not look good. He hasn't looked good either. He's another one that we haven't really called out, and you could call him out too. That's a fair call out. And he's also saying, am I the only one that doesn't think Abdul Carter is as good as everyone's saying?
I understand where you're coming from, but I don't agree. I think he's doing a lot of the little things that perhaps people are not seeing on a regular basis. I've watched every game. He's always around the running back. He's constantly in the backfield. He hasn't gotten the sack exposure that a Myles Garrett or even a Brian Burns has, but I think he's one of the top guys in pressures. So it's just a couple of seconds or inches here or there where he'd be having more sacks. So I think he's having a good season so far. Not great, but good.
And for me, solving race problem, for me, it's simple. I agree with Paul. I think he is as good as listed, but I think the scheme is wrong for him. And if the Giants knew this coming in, that Shane Bowen wasn't going to be a good defensive coordinator for Abdul Carter because he's dropping him back in coverage, he's not using him to his strengths, then maybe a Travis Hunter type of player would have been the pick, or the offensive lineman over Abdul Carter. But I'm excited if we get rid of Shane Bowen. I'm excited to see an aggressive defensive guy with these front four guys. So I'm even going to give Dexter Lawrence a small pass because something's not right. And Brian Burns calling out Shane Bowen. The defense is going to give up on this guy, and it's going to happen sooner than later. And I don't think Abdul Carter is going to be one of them, but he needs to start using Abdul Carter in his strengths as opposed to in coverage where he's not doing any good. Michael Ronquillo, everybody's friend, saying good evening, Kenny and Paul, and he's throwing those Michael. Blue and white hearts out at us.
Thank you.
First, here's a question coming from Keith. Are we sellers at the deadline? What do you want if you sell?
Let me tell you, we have a lot of dead wood. Evan Neal has not suited up all year. Jalen Hyatt, who I just mentioned, has not suited up yesterday. A healthy scratch. Neal's been a healthy scratch every game this year. We have two quarterbacks who are not going to play as long as Jackson Dart is doing well. Get rid of one of them, all right? That's at least three players. So if I can get rid of those players for some type of draft pick, I'm all for it.
I'm with you. I'm with you because look where we got Cam Scatterboo last year, fourth round.
Hmm.
You get a couple fifth round picks now or sixth round picks. You could trade a couple of those picks and move up in the draft to the fourth or fifth round. If you get a couple sixth rounds, you trade 2 6 for a fifth. You can maybe find a Tyrone Tracy, a Cam Scatterboo.
Hmm.
One thing, in my opinion, and there's not many, one thing that Joe Shane has done well is finding those middle round guys in his short period of time here. Fourth round picks, fifth round picks. He's done well in those early day 3 picks. So I would definitely trade all those guys that you said. They'd be on the block, and that's what I'd be looking for. The one big name, and I hope it doesn't happen because I want to see this foursome next year with an aggressive defensive guy. I'm curious to see if teams are going to call for Kayvon Thibodeau. That's the one I'm nervous about. 2-6, Kayvon Thibodeau. He's right there too. It seems like he gets bad luck, plays a lot, and those stats don't show up. Yesterday, the tush push, he stole the ball away, called it dead. We see a lot of sacks. There's holding penalty, and they take the penalty instead. Kayvon Thibodeau's an elite pass rusher, and I just hope the Giants don't give up on him this year. That's the one guy I'd be afraid that I don't want to give up. See, we got Dexter was Keith's sack leader. Better giddy up. Keith, you're in trouble. You're gonna need multiple Myles Garrett type 5-sack days
Yeah.
from Dexter Lawrence. And Michael, thank you. He's saying sorry for the loss of Cam Scatterboo. Hope for a full
Thank you,
recovery
Michael.
for Cam. And Graham's saying the Broncos can sweep the NFC East with the Commanders game. Yeah, Jaden Daniels hurt. That's hurting them for sure. They have not looked good, and they're on tonight. So. All right, Paul, you got any more call-outs? I do have one more.
No, go ahead.
I got one, and he stepped up yesterday. Solving mentioned him. Deonte Banks. You know what? It's a semi-call-out. He did his job yesterday for the most part. But up until yesterday, this guy got benched. He was our number 1 pick a couple years ago. I was so high on him. I started saying the banks are closed on Sunday. You ain't gonna get nothing on Deonte Banks. Let's go. Banks are closed on Sunday. No receiving yards here. And he just seems like he lost all confidence in himself. And you started seeing, the slants in the end zone touchdown last year. And then this year comes and he's in a competition with Cordell Flott, who I was never a fan of, who I learned to like now this year. So I went from complete opposite ends, in love with Banks, disliking Banks, disliking Flott, liking Flott. So I totally turned to 360, and I'm calling him out and continue to, step up. Step up. I don't need you to cover the number 1 guys when a debut comes back, but I need you to be there, for depth, so we can go at some nickel packages, maybe throw a safety blitz in or a cornerback blitz, and get a little creative with this defense instead of I laugh at the big playbooks. Well, here's Shane Bowen's playbook. that add a couple schemes on defense, and maybe Banks can be the reason they do it. So I'm calling him out. Step up. I still got confidence in you. A lot of people don't. And make those banks closed on Sunday again. You there, Paul?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Sharon's just saying, I love the tush push and crazy win yesterday. 49 win for her Bills over the Panthers.
We'll talk about that.
That's coming up
shortly.
That's coming up, and I don't disagree with you much. I hate the tush push, Sharon. So you're going to hear me go off on in a second. But anything else on the call-outs, Paul? I think
No.
we nailed it. Oh, I do want to call out one more guy. Joe Shane, step up. Make sure the damn kicking game is, you got a backup guy in not some guy who's a backup in college. Have a guy on the practice squad ready to go, because if Graham Gano hurts that groin and we got no kicker again, I'm going to personally come to New Jersey, even though I'm going next week, and I'm going to go and knock on the doors and sign, get every Giant fan out there to sign the petition to let you go. Solving saying Theo Johnson stinks too. Such a
Yeah,
frustrating player to watch.
he really is. I mean, you couldn't have walked down the field and placed the ball better than Jackson Dart threw that pass to him. They would have had a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. Catch the damn ball. That's what you're getting paid to do. Catch the damn ball. I don't understand it.
I know. I'm with you. And I just praised Joe Shane for his middle round picks. Theo Johnson, he's getting open. That's the frustrating part. Like the frustrating part is his growth is there. Just have the hands that we know you got. Stop trying to run before the ball is thrown. Make a play. Anyway, good call outs there, solving on the Theo and Newbin. I didn't have neither one of those two down. So great call outs there. Paul, got about 15, 20 minutes left. I think that's enough time to talk about this topic that we got listed. And it's going to be heated, I'm sure, and aggressive on both of our ends. And I'm going to pass it back to you.
All right, we're going to talk about the referees in this, excuse me, in this game yesterday because, again, I'm not blaming the Giants losing the game because the referees, but I'm going to go over and itemize some of the plays that Kenny and I felt really cost the Giants the game yesterday. And, the Giants had 7 penalties for 54 yards, but that isn't the whole story. We talked about the tush push. Let's talk about the tush push. Go back a couple of weeks ago against the Giants. The Eagles ran 4 straight tush push plays, and in those 4, at least 2 of them could have been called for false starts, and they didn't call them, okay? And then they scored the touchdown. Yesterday, 4th and 1, they attempt a tush push, and lo and behold, the ball is knocked out. It's quote unquote fumbled, and all of a sudden, they give the ball back to the Eagles because they called forward progress. Well, the timing of it was all screwed up because if the timing had been in the second quarter at 12:55 on the clock, they blew the whistle at 12:52 or 53. So in that 2.5 seconds, they could not have had forward progress for that period of time. So it had to be a fumble. They did not call it. They spotted the ball on the second part of that is on the 9.5-yard line when if forward progress had stopped, it should have been only the 10-yard line, which they didn't measure. That would have been not a first down. The Giants would have had the ball. So either way, the Giants should have had the ball, and they screwed the Giants. So the result was the Eagles had that 1 yard, plus they then scored on the next play 7 points, and the Giants are down. All right. We talked about the Cam Scatterboo injury. All right, horrible injury. Well, I read something today. I haven't seen it too often, but don't be shocked if Zach Baun is fined. The NFL put in about a year or two ago this hip block tackle that players on the defense are using. Well, I read somewhere that might have been the injury to Cam Scatterboo, that Zach Baun did that same type of hip block to tackle him, and it wouldn't shock me if the Eagles if he's fined. All right, so 30 seconds left in the first half. Again, the Eagles have the goal to go. They get Kayvon Thibodeau for a neutral line infraction But on the replay, you can see Jordan Malika move. No call against the Eagles. Should have been a false start. The Eagles should have been penalized 10 yards. Sure enough, they move the ball 5 yards against the Giants. And again, he throws a touchdown pass. So now it's plus 10 yards, and the Eagles get another 7 points. Number 3, Corey Black is hand fighting with the receiver, Darius Cooper, on the Eagles. They're hand fighting. They're going back and forth. Guess who the penalty for defensive pass interference is called against? Of course, rookie, first game against Corey Black. Eagles go down. They get a easy field goal. Instead of maybe a 60-yard attempt by Jake Elliott, they get 3.40-yard field goal by Jake Elliott. Conversely, Giants are still in the game. On 4th and 11, Jackson Dart throws what looks like or appears to be a 68-yard touchdown to Darius Slayton. All right, the Giants are back in the game. Fantastic. Whistle, flag. What happened? The same hand checking by both Darius Slayton and Quinton Mitchell. Who gets called? Darius Slayton for offensive pass interference. The same exact type of play that happened for defensive pass interference. They call offensive pass interference on the Giant wide receiver. Minus 78 yards in penalties and take away 7 points and a touchdown. Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyrone Tracy had a 6-yard gain. It would have been 3rd and 1. He gets called for a block in the back. On the replay, it showed that the defensive back, what's his name? The safety, Andrew Makuba, was basically diving to make the tackle on Tracy, and Wan'Dale Robinson barely touched him. He was going down to make the tackle. They ruled he blocked him in the back. You could probably put a feather between Robinson and the Eagles' safety, and it wouldn't have touched. Giants get penalized. If Darius Slayton's penalty would have counted, the touchdown would have counted, at that point it would have been 21-19. The Giants would have probably gone for a 2-point conversion to try and tie the score, and there still would have been almost over 9 minutes left in the game. So you talk about penalties against teams that really hurt. The referees are horrible. We've been talking about this for years now, haven't we, Kenny? And it's just not getting any better in the NFL. And I know it's not just the Giants. You can probably go to any game, any weekend in the season, and you'll have fans screaming and yelling at their TVs or in the stands because of the way the referees are refereeing the games.
Yeah, I want to start with this one on the penalties that you mentioned. It's the hip drop tackle. Keith wrote the definition. Dropping your weight hip to the ground with arms around the waist. If you land on the back of the legs of the ball carrier, should equal a fine. The problem I have with this penalty, this non-call number 1, is it's illegal. And it's not just a changing penalty. It's a season-ending penalty miscall by the refs. So
it could be a career-ending penalty.
Could be a career ending. Unacceptable. Number 1. That is the most important miscall of the game. Sharon brings up a good point. A lot of missed calls, not only on the Giants, but other games. We just see the games we watch, but it's all around the league. It's a problem all around the league. The second one, the tush push. This is the one, if it wasn't for the hip drop tackle, the one that I definitely have the biggest problem with, and the one I'm going to get most fired up about. Kayvon Thibodeau strips Jalen Hurts of the ball, and it's a fumble. The Giants pick it up, and then they blow the call dead and say forward progress was stopped. If you watch the tush push, Jalen Hurts' forward progress is stopped every single time until the running backs push him. So, where are you saying forward progress? 2, there was never a whistle blown. Play should have been live. 3, a reviewer will play, and this is the biggest problem of all. It was reviewed upstairs, and they said forward progress was stopped after reviewing it upstairs. That's the problem I have, because it was clearly not stopped. He was clearly still running with the ball. He sticks the ball out, and they did the thing what they're supposed to do. The Giants, they took it away from him, and they find every single way possible for this play to work. Whether it's a false start and they don't call it, or this forward progress stopped, BS, because it's stopped every week, and then they let them get away with the extra pushing. It stopped every week, so that's the problem too. And then the pass interference plays and the false start. False start is unacceptable. You got a line judge watching. The only job he has is to watch both sides of the line and see if anybody jumps. And he gets that wrong, goodbye. That's an easy job. That's probably the easiest refereeing job in football, is the line judge. All you're watching is seeing if anybody's lined up both sides and somebody's jumping. It's an easy job, and you're staring down a straight line.
Yeah.
Easiest job in football.
Good point.
You can't get it wrong, and you got that wrong. What needs to be done, in my opinion, Paul, how I solve this problem, and maybe somebody's out there listening and will throw this idea out to the league, is you have a couple people upstairs, a review booth. No red flags, but on those game-changing calls, replay assistants call down to the field. Wasn't a penalty, or it wasn't defensive pass interference, it was offensive pass interference. Switch the call, or no forward progress wasn't stopped. Giants ball at the 20-yard line. It was a fumble. Replay assistants, no challenge flags, replay assistants on these calls. And the people that say we need full-time refs, if you get full-time refs, it's going to be the same refs. These are the best that the NFL has to offer. And they got a job to do, but have assistants upstairs. That's what needs to be fixed. Keep the game flow going and have somebody call down. They're watching the monitors. Oh, penalty called on Kayvon Thibodeau. It was actually a false start on the Eagles. Let's get that right, because that could be a game changer. That's what I think needs to be done.
Yeah. No, great points, Kenny. Really. And it's every week. And you talk about games that they talk about how the NFL is, fixed and all of this and betting and everything. But the bottom line is that until this is a problem that is solved, it's going to happen week after week after week. I mean, we've seen it even in the playoffs. So it's going to really seriously impact a team, a coach, a player, if this continues to happen.
Oh, and let's go back a couple weeks ago. This is where this ruling would be good. It worked to our advantage, but we still didn't win the game. The Riley Moss on Bo Collins it shouldn't have been a defensive pass interference, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Should have been the game changer. That the refs changed the game with that call, but the Broncos had that, historic comeback. But that was a game-changing flag. That's where the refs upstairs, that should have somebody reviewing upstairs, replay assistants, not a flag on Riley Moss. Pick up the flag. And that's the problem I have with the NFL, with these bad calls every single week.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Anyway, Paul, anything else on the refs? We could, Mark's coming in saying, hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Hey, Mark.
Don't be sorry, Mark. We're here. We're venting as always, and hanging in there. Want to get into the Giants 49ers a little bit, what we expect, and we'll wrap it up with that.
Yeah. Listen, they got to turn the page next Sunday. 49ers coming in from the West Coast, early game. Maybe that's to the Giants' advantage. 49ers have a lot of injuries on defense. Right now, they're hurting a lot. In the game yesterday, Houston took advantage of the 49er offensive line, and their defensive line dominated the 49er O-line. Hey, we have hopefully a pretty good defensive line. Maybe the same thing can happen this week with the Giants' defensive line. 49ers blitzed yesterday 34% of the game against a quarterback that's been in the league 3 years. Something tells me they're going to be coming after Jackson Dart at that same rate or maybe even higher. And I will say this, Jackson Dart has been very good against the blitz. So hopefully the Giant offensive game plan will notice that in looking at the game films of the Texas 49er game yesterday, and they'll be ready for it. I think coming home, I think it's a legacy game, which means the Giants are going to be honoring the 1980s uniforms. They'll be wearing the throwback uniforms. Hopefully the crowd will be up. It's going to be a nice day. I think the Giants are going to bounce back and win the game. I think they're going to beat the 49ers. I'm going to say 27-20. They're going to beat the 49ers this week.
Love it, Paul. I do want to get a couple of comments before I go. Mark is saying Dexter needs to wake up. We said that earlier, Mark. We called him out. He is not doing anything. Maybe this game jumpstart him, try and do something different. Michael, with United Football League, has someone in the booth buzzing in for review.
There you
NFL,
go.
take some notes on that. And, it needs to be done. It needs to be done.
There you go.
Oh, I'm going to be coming up for the game. Visit Paul and his wife, their new house. We're going to watch the game on Sunday. I think this game's going to be very similar to the Chargers game we had earlier in the season. Jackson Dart's first start. And that was his home game and, his first home game, and we came away with a victory. I think we're going to do enough on offense. Score in the mid-20s. I think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to have a good game. The linebackers, I think the tight ends will be involved. The linebackers, Fred Warner's out for the year. They're hurting, like you said, on defense. On the defensive side of the ball, if Shane Bowen doesn't address stop the run this week, I'm going to be in New Jersey. I might be waiting outside in East Rutherford when the game is over and getting the petition signed at Giant Stadium, because there's one guy to stop on this defense. If you're worried about Mac Jones beating you, there's one guy to stop on this offense, and that's Christian McCaffrey. And the Texans take a page out of the Texans defensive playbook there, Shane, because they stopped him yesterday, and the 49ers had no answer. So George Kittle, let George Kittle get his yards. Let George Kittle get a few catches. I'm okay with that. Don't let Christian McCaffrey beat you. If he beats you, I'm done. I will go to East Rutherford. Mark, meet us there. Giant fans, meet us there. Keith and Michael, I'll fly you in from. I know you're Broncos fans, but I'll fly you guys in, and we all can go there with a petition outside Giant Stadium to fire Shane Bowen if he don't stop Christian McCaffrey on Sunday. Solving the race problem. I'm not sure where you're from, but I'll invite you as well, my friend, Giants fan. Everybody out there, we'll get Graham from Canada. We're going to sign the petition to get rid of this guy once and for all. Enough's enough. Christian McCaffrey needs to be stopped. That's the only guy they got on offense right now that I'm afraid of, and that's the only guy that they should be keying on stopping and go from there. That being said, a little lower score than you have, Paul. I got it very close, though. 24-20 Giants.
Okay.
Giants at home with Jackson Dart. The fans are going to be wound up cheering on for Cam Scatterbo early in the game. It's going to be a lot of emotions. You said that the legacy, players will be there, and it's going to be a nice atmosphere. 2-16, but it's going to be an exciting atmosphere for sure. And the home crowd will get the Giants a victory. that being said, any final thoughts, Paul, before we call it a night?
Yeah, listen, once again, um, let's send prayers to Cam. Hope he makes a full recovery. But like they say, next man up. We have a long season continue. Another what? 9 games left in the season. So let's hope at least we can turn it around for this week, and we'll go week to week, and hopefully things will start to turn for the better for us. And
Yeah.
last thing, want to wish everybody an early happy Thanksgiving, happy Halloween. Be careful out there if you go out and celebrate or do whatever you do on Halloween. So just be careful.
Back around for everybody, the little spooky stuff going on. Yeah, no, Cam Scatterbo, thoughts and prayers with you. Giants football going to be exciting second half of the season to watch what Jackson Dart continues to do, and watch out, Solomon Abdul Carter's coming. He's about to have his coming out party, and it's coming soon. It might be this week. So let's go Giants. Happy Halloween, everybody. We'll see everyone next week.